You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine Combat Veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Well, hello, America. We are about 60 seconds from showtime. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We got to take the really quick first break to get it out of the way, and then we'll be right back with the beginning of the show. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Basically, I just wanted to break in because, after about 5 minutes of commercials, y'all are wondering if I'm ever going to start talking. But I promise, we'll be back here in just about 60 seconds. Stay tuned.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
You know this freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty.
Hello, America. Welcome to the program. I am Rick Robinson. This is America Off the Rails. We're coming to you live every Monday through Thursday on KLRNradio.com, where we live broadcast every night at 11 p.m. Eastern. Also, we are available on AMFM247.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern. The Lanterns Radio Network every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. And Talk America Radio, the Liberty Channel, available there every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern. Also available and expanding soon, hopefully, on CRNTalk.com every Saturday and Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. And that basically brings up the live and streaming portions of the show. We'll go over where you can find us on podcast probably after the bottom of the hour break. I usually do this at the beginning or the end of the show, but I've been talking to some folks and they said maybe it was a good idea to start giving this kind of stuff out at the beginning. So if you like what you hear, I would encourage you to do a couple of different things. First of all, go to KLRNradio.com. Find the Our Shows page. Click on the picture of America Off the Rails. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a button that basically gives you a setup on your Google Calendar that will tell you when a broadcast is about to start. Also, if you enjoy us via podcast, one of the best ways to do that is actually through Spreaker. You can go to Spreaker.com, find KLRNradio.com, go to the shows section, find America Off the Rails. You can actually click on a button there. Actually, no, I guess all you got to do there is click on the follow button at the top. You'll get notifications anytime anything drops. And we'll again go over some of the other podcast storage sites where you can find the show. Basically, if there's anywhere that you can find a podcast, pretty sure we're already there or we're working to get there. But we do have a lot to talk about tonight. There has been an interesting development at CNN, and not to steal Donald Trump's line, because I actually used to make fun of him for saying it, but apparently we have found out that CNN might actually be the father of fake news. And we'll get into that some more. Also, the fact that the president was calling this whole Russia thing a witch hunt may or may not be slightly more accurate than some of us had thought. Now, again, nobody knows for sure what may or may not be here, but what we do know, and we'll talk about this throughout the show, is that we, the American people, have not entirely been getting the truth from our media sources, but who here that listens to this show and others like it are surprised by that, because let's face it, the media hasn't been telling us the truth for quite some time. If the media was truthful and honest, you wouldn't need to listen to folks like me and all the other folks that do grassroots talk radio to try to get some of the truth out to you, even if it's just in small hour-long doses. But at this point, it is time for us to get the very first network out of the way. So we have to take this one. We got to take a network break here for about 60 seconds. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We'll be back before you know it, and we'll get started talking about the news and the events of the day, most of which centering around this whole Russia thing. And an interesting development now that we know that CNN has been playing word games.
These are the times that we'll try. They'll try me so.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live. This is, again, KLRNradio.com, where we're live every Sunday through Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, I said Sunday. Monday through Thursday. Sorry, we used to do the show 5 days a week, and it was getting to be too much. Actually, now that I have a bit of a studio set up, though, I've been toying with the idea of actually doing the show again on Sunday nights. I haven't talked myself into it yet, and I don't want to give the station manager any kittens by having her rearrange or add to the schedule yet again, since she just took it off. So I haven't decided yet what I plan on doing. However, that being said, bear in mind there may or may not be a Sunday version of America Off the Rails coming back very, very soon, because I'm actually, honestly, full disclosure, and some of you have heard this before, I have been sick off and on for months. I have probably had the worst case of the flu or whatever it was in January of this past year, and it felt like it took me up until now to start getting over it. I am really to the point where I'm actually starting to feel fairly decent again, which is making it easier to do the back-to-back shows. For those of you that have been following along at home, you know that usually on a Tuesday night, I had been putting up a replay instead of doing a back-to-back live show up until the last few weeks, only because I felt like it was taking so much out of me. But it's because we've been doing so much behind the scenes, and things are finally starting to get to the point where they're nearly coming together. There still aren't enough hours in the day, but we're getting closer. Now, enough about the station and enough about me prattling on about not feeling well. Let's get to the news, because like I said, an interesting thing happened. There was a video leaked of someone who was actually talking to a CNN producer, and I have the audio, but I'm not going to be playing it tonight because I didn't have time to edit it, and unfortunately it is full of expletives, and I don't really want to have to mark the show as explicit or do a bunch of editing for it to go out to every other place that it's going to go tomorrow. So if I have time, I will try to get it edited tomorrow so we can kind of touch on this again, because this is going to be one of those stories that doesn't go away. Because I want to just recap for you for just a minute what we're talking about here. Because Donald Trump has been called everything from a liar to a traitor based on the fact that he supposedly colluded with the Russians. Now, I want you to understand something, and I've made this point before, but I'm going to go over it again. Because at this point, we already know that Obama knew at some point that the Russians were messing with our election. The problem is, and so people are going to hate me for saying this, but what did he know and when did he know it? That's what I want to know. What did he know and when did he know it? You know what they used to yell at us? Because here's the thing. If he knew what I know he knew, back when he knew it, see what I did there, then he was actually lying to the American people during the election cycle. Because while he was telling us it was impossible for our elections to be hacked or influenced, he already knew that they were being influenced, possibly even hacked. Why else would the DNC have refused to let the FBI investigate their servers? We already know, because we were told by the FBI that at least 5 other foreign intelligence services had access to the information on Hillary's server, on Hillary's bathroom server. That's right, Hillary Clinton had a server in a bathroom in the middle of nowhere with classified material on it. But let's continue to bash Trump because he's a guy that doesn't actually say nice things all the time. Look, I'm not a Trump fan. Never been a Trump fan. But I am a supporter of the president until they give me reason to not support them. Barack Obama has given me 8 years of reasons to not support him or believe him. And this is yet another instance where this is what happened. He literally tried to cover up what was going on with Russia because he knew in his heart that Hillary Clinton was going to win the election and he didn't want it to blow up on her. But at the same time, once it didn't happen, they knew they had a vehicle they could use to try to unseat the new president because these people literally do not understand how civics works. I want you to think about this for a second. Someone who was a former constitutional scholar had the bright idea of trying to unseat a president because in their head, they thought they could find a way to void this election and make sure that Hillary Clinton was anointed after all. That's why she's been going around making the temper tantrum speeches. And if you listen to what she's saying, it's literally what she's doing. She's standing on stage. Sorry, I got sidetracked there for a second. I was trying to think of the word podium, and for a second there, it wouldn't come to me. So she's standing on stage behind a podium, and she's literally basically painting you a mental picture with her words of her sitting in the middle of the ground and just yelling, "Why didn't you pick me, America?" while she's kicking her feet and throwing and flailing her arms. This has been Hillary Clinton since the election because she knew this was her time. She knew it. This is why she's already making noise about running again. Luckily, Eric Holder's also making noise about running again. Please keep putting these people up. Democrats, please, 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 please. Because look, Trump is a lot of things. Trump is a flawed man. Trump is not perfect, but then again, neither are any of us. Can you imagine if the day-to-day pressures of what that man was going through, if you and I were the ones that were on stage all the time, having to explain ourselves? I would have already gone Steve Austin. For those of you that don't get it, that's a WWE reference, formerly WWF. And basically he would come out into the middle of the ring and just start throwing people the bird. If I was having to do the things that man does on a daily basis and has dealt with for the last year and a half, 2 years, I would at this point just be walking out to the press briefings, both birds flying, turn around and walk off. Because he's whether we want to realize it or not, he's been being sabotaged for the entire time he's been elected. Everything that they have said, that most of us that were, not necessarily Trump fans are sitting back going, yeah, there's no way it's this bad. It literally is this bad. CNN was making crap up because it was good for their ratings. We have heard audio of a producer for CNN say, yeah, well, our ratings are great. So no, we don't have anything yet, but they're going to keep digging and we're going to keep talking about it until they find something. And that's my point. A lot of the things that Trump has been saying for the last several months, they literally did happen. Everybody made fun of him for, this is a witch hunt because I'm being investigated by the guy who told me to fire the FBI director for firing the FBI director. And people didn't believe me, so I showed them the memos where both the AG and the assistant AG recommended the firing of Comey. But yeah, it's different. Somehow it's different because it's Trump. Look, and again, I'm coming at this from shooting things straight down the middle because I didn't vote for the man. I want to make sure you guys understand this. I changed my political affiliation in the state of Oklahoma to make sure that the Libertarian Party could get put on the ballot because I was literally trying to find anything that I could do to affect change in this country because I'm so disillusioned with both parties. I still am, and we'll get to more of that when we finish up with this discussion. But right now we have to take a break. We are up to the next break on the show, so we'll be back here in just about 3 minutes. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. So we've been talking mostly about CNN. We're going to change tactics a little bit. But it's kind of the same thing because, again, the president's coming under attack because of the fact that the Republicans are wanting to try to fix the Obamacare mess. Now, he's taking fire from all sides. I have to admit, I have been one of the ones that has been actively opening fire because I haven't been happy with the fact that it looks like we're going to get some sort of revised version of Obamacare. But here's the thing. Look. The Democrats don't want to admit it, but Obamacare is set up to fail. It was set up to fail on purpose. This was one reason why they were pushing so hard to make sure that Hillary Clinton was going to be the next president of the United States. Because if it failed under her watch, it was going to be a way to usher in socialized medicine. That's what they've wanted all along. The problem is there are just as many Republicans that want the same thing because it's about control. It really is. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to think about it, but that's what this is about. This is about control. Think about it for just a second. Eventually, when we get to a single-payer system, they're going to have access to your information. They're going to have control over your health care from the day that you're born till the day that you die. They will eventually be able to tell you what you can eat, what you can sleep, or when you can sleep, how much you should sleep, all of the above, because ultimately it's all going to be, they're going to find a way that, well, this is to save the government money. So you have to eat more healthily. You can't have a Twinkie. No, it's after 8 p.m. You shouldn't have this. No, you shouldn't eat anything. Actually, because I'm a heavy-set guy, I actually had somebody on Twitter the other day tell me that after 6 p.m. I shouldn't eat unless I'm replenishing because it will help me lose weight. Look, first of all, I have a father. I don't need another one. Second of all, I'm already working on trying to lose weight. It's not as easy as you might think because there are things that keep me from being fully ambulatory most of the time, but I don't go into most of those things. Because why burden you with the things that have happened to me in the past? I'm not here to dwell on the past. I'm here to talk about the future. But my point with all of this is that's what the government wants. They want control of you, one way or the other, and they're going to find a way to get it. The problem is we're letting folks get it. And if you want to know why or have a better understanding of why, I encourage you to check out a recent show that Jen and I did. Actually, at the time this was recorded live, that was the show we had just finished. And it is, we actually had a guest on, Michael Abbott Jr., the author of Entitled to Slavery. And it is a very enthralling read because it actually goes through history and how basically there's a human cycle. We start out in bondage, we find faith, which eventually leads us to freedom, which eventually leads us back to apathy. And then eventually, it's what was the cycle again? So slavery, faith, freedom. There's a spot in the middle. I can't think of exactly where it goes, but it basically goes through the different cycles where at some point we start out in bondage, we go through all of these different phases, and eventually we wind up right back in bondage. And at this point, we are in this country getting dangerously close to the apathy. We're actually in the apathy phase. If you don't think we're in the apathy phase, look at the way we attack each other, even left and right. And I will admit there are times when I'm just as guilty of this because I get angry. But at the same time, when I usually get that mad, there's a valid reason behind it. These people are shouting things today like the Republicans are the party of death because they're trying to fix a healthcare mess that the Democrats made. The scariest part about this is the Democrats are willing to take the albatross from around, or the Republicans are willing to take the albatross from around the Democrats' necks to try to fix this mess. But they really don't understand how to fix it because the Republicans have never really been into this whole socialization thing. So they're looking at it going, okay, so now we have control again, how do we fix it? Because they understand, and as much as it pains me to say this, they understand that once the genie's out of the bottle, the government-funded program never actually completely goes away. You can cut it back, you can cut it for growth, you can even cut its funding, but it's still going to be there. That's a problem. And I understand they're catching 9 kinds of heck, and I am one of the ones standing from the rooftop shouting with you guys that you promised to repeal this mess and you better damn well do it. But at the same time, at least they are honestly trying to do something. What scares me is I think what they're trying to do is way too incremental. And I don't think that when the American public sees the results that they need to see from these first couple of changes, I don't think they're going to have power long enough to continue to affect the changes. And I think it's eventually going to wind up, basically, the Democrats are going to get control again, and they're going to put us right back on the path to socialized medicine. That's what has me scared about all of this. But what hasn't changed is from every aspect of this man's presidency, from the date that he's been elected, he's come under attack. And again, I've told you I didn't vote for him, but the day that he got sworn in, my attitude changed. Because I cannot be one of the ones sitting around rooting for the Titanic to hit the iceberg. There are literally millions of people in this country right now hoping that the country's going to burn so they can blame Trump. They want something bad to happen. They want something drastic to happen. They want him to have done something illegal. They want him to have conspired with the Russians. Never mind the fact that it would be the first time that a sitting president could potentially be tried for treason, if that were to be true. I can't think in recent memory, or actually any memory, of any time when a president would be even wished to have committed some form of treason just because it would make them feel better about their decision to not support the man. I don't understand that mindset. I honestly and I truthfully do not. And I'm not trying to pick on those of you that are still very staunchly opposed to Trump. I get it. I have friends that are still on the Never Trump train. You know, there's the Trump train and there's the Never Trump train. I almost bought a ticket to the Trump train. I did eventually hitch a ride on the Never Trump train, but eventually I had to get off because I can't be Never Trump anymore because the guy's the president. He's got a job to do, and he's not being allowed to do it. This is what we've been talking about all along with the Democrats. They're the ones that every time they're in power and anybody tries to stop them, well, this isn't how this is supposed to work. When the side that wins, then they should be able to put forward their agenda, and if the American people don't like it, they can vote them out of office. Anybody remember how many times Obama said that? And no, that was not an attempt at an Obama impression because I suck at those. But he really did say that. let's let the Democrats put forward their agenda, and if you guys don't like it, you can vote them out of office. So we voted them out of office, and yet now we still are being led by the minority, which really annoys me, especially when it comes to the Republicans, because they are seriously the party in power right now, and they're still governing as if they were the minority party. And it drives me insane. It's another reason why I literally think we need to find better options. But we are officially up against a hard break. We've got to take this one because I'm already a little bit long. We'll be back here in just about 4 minutes. Stay tuned.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
From KLRNradio.com. We're also rebroadcast on AMFM247.com, All right, and also because I promised we would do this after the bottom of the hour break, places you can hear us on podcasts could be including, but not necessarily limited to, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FM Player, Google Play Music, Pocket Cast, Blueberry. I think I already said iHeartRadio, but just in case I didn't, yes, we are actually an iHeartRadio podcaster, which is awesome, by the way. And SoundCloud, Stitcher, I think I've said them already, so I think I'm going to stop now. One of these days I'll actually get Richard, the guy that used to do the voiceover work for the show, to sit down and make me a list of this stuff on recording so I can just play it out of breaks and we can be done with it. But anyway, so we've been all over the place today talking about mainly what's been going on with CNN and also the media. So we're going to keep talking about the media for a moment because we've been talking about this whole Republican healthcare thing. And one of the things that the media has done is they've turned on the spin machine on high because they keep talking about the 22 million Americans that are going to be without healthcare if this passes. They're not talking about the number of those 22 million people that are going to willingly go back to not having healthcare because of the fact that they were forced to buy something. Now, the other interesting thing about this 22 million number, because again, it does account for a lot of people that would be willingly moving away from it, I hear whispers that somebody's trying to work the mandates back in, which doesn't need to happen. Seriously. Republicans, if you're listening, we don't want the mandate. Look, it's bad enough that you're not completely repealing Obamacare, but if you put the mandate back in, I swear, the network, the media company that I'm building, we will throw everything we have behind the Federalist Party and we will run you out of town. I'm done. I'm not even playing. Now, we may not be much yet, but we're getting there. And I swear to you, if you guys screw this up, I'm done. I'm done supporting you. I'm done interviewing Republican congressmen, Republican senators, all the people that have been on all of the different shows. There will be a list of people that will never be interviewed again. And I will spend every ounce of every moment of every second that I have fighting to bring the Federalist Party back to the forefront so that there can actually be a viable second party. Because at this point, if you guys do what I think you're about to do, we can get rid of the third party fallacy because the Democrats and the Republicans are slowly becoming a single party. And I've been saying that for a very long time. I've actually been saying that for longer than I've been doing radio. One of the very first posts that I ever put out on a Facebook page was talking to folks about a video game that I used to play. I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. And I'm going to butcher the name of it because I never could say it right. But it's spelled Deus Ex, so it's Duesex. And I know they've made another one, and I haven't gotten it yet. I really, really need to, but I don't have time to play video games much anymore, as much as I like them. But anyway, the whole point of this game, and if you haven't played it yet, spoiler alert, but it's a really old game by now, so it probably wouldn't matter to you too much. So there's basically two main factions that you can play as the main character. So you go through the different things that happen in the game, and there's a story arc for each faction. And different choices that you make align you with each of the two factions. But the problem is, no matter which side you play the game on, by the time you get to the end of it, you realize that the two factions are all run by the same people. But because people have to have some form of competition, what they've done is they've set up these groups and they've secretly run them from the beginning, and they've pitted each other against each other simply to keep them fighting long enough so that they never realize that ultimately, no matter which side they pick, the guys at the top are all the same. And I started thinking about that when I really started getting old enough to really start looking at politics and looking at all the different times that we've let the peaceful transition of power occur and transition from one party to the other, and nothing ever really changes. It never changes. They tell us it's going to. They tell us, I mean, literally, America is like an abused spouse. An abused spouse and a polygamous relationship, of course, but an abused spouse. Because we keep running from one party to the other because one says they're going to do things right this time, so we go back to them, and then they don't. So then we in a huff, we leave that party and we run to the other one because they say this time we're going to do it right this time, and now they're not. And we do this over and over and over again. Somebody remind me what Einstein's definition of insanity is? Because we keep voting for these same two parties and nothing ever really seems to change. What was Einstein's definition of insanity again? All right, I got on a bit of a sidetrack, but we have got to take a really quick break. This is a network break, so we have to take it. This is America Off the Rails. We'll be back with you in just a little bit over 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
Hey, this is John Preston, Marine combat veteran and Pacific Records recording artist. Just reaching out to have you check out our new album, Battle Cry, Songs of America's Heroes, an album featuring phenomenal other combat veteran artists like Scott Brown of the Scooter Brown Band, Ryan Weaver, Rowdy Johnson, just an incredible mix of people. This is all veterans telling our stories and our lives, and we're giving 100% of our proceeds to the Valkyrie Initiative to help veterans and first responders integrate back into society. I myself have battled with post-traumatic stress for many years and lost my own brother, a Marine Corps veteran, to suicide. I ask that you step with us and make this happen. We are in pre-order right now and release on March 17th. Go to iTunes, go to Amazon, buy. We plan on making the charts and making it at a very high level, and your support right now makes a difference. This is the release of my new song, Superman Falls, which is actually about the loss of my own brother, which happened last year, and I would love for everyone to check it out, to listen, and hopefully it'll make a difference in many lives.
All right, folks, welcome back. And now, before we went to break, we were talking about the whole spin on the Republican healthcare plan and how the Democrats will have none of it. But the Republicans are still lining things up, trying to find some way to keep this stuff from basically imploding on itself. Now, again, one of the things that the press has been doing to keep trying to throw the Republicans under the bus is they keep talking about this 22 million people that are going to be thrown off of healthcare coverage. Is, again, if you look at the actual breakdowns and where they get them, a vast majority of these folks are not actually going to be wanting to get healthcare because they were forced to get healthcare under the Obama plan, so the numbers that they were talking about were skewed as well. Because even if you say that these 22 million people were helped under Obamacare, if you look at the numbers, there were like 34 million people thrown off of private insurance under Obamacare. So 22 million people were picked back up. That left 12 million people, which was the initial number that needed to be covered in the first place, according to the Obama administration. Look, I didn't have a chance to talk about this last night, so I want to make sure I get to it tonight. There are easy ways to fix this mess. There really, really are. There are free market solutions to fix this mess. Okay, so upfront pricing in hospitals. When is the last time that you went into a hospital and you knew how much it was going to cost up front before you ever started getting treatment? Why is that? Because there's a third party in the way called an insurance company. So nobody really cares about what they're paying because their out-of-pocket expenses are pretty low. Let's think about this from another perspective. When you go get your oil changed, or you take your car to get your, oil change, tires rotated, etc., within $25 to $50 what you're going to be paying by the time you leave the place, unless they come up with something or they say, hey, by the way, when we're doing this, we found this. Do you have the money to deal with that right now? You'll be like, no. But do something with your car that requires that your insurance gets used, like in an accident, and all of a sudden nobody really knows what it costs to straighten out that fender, or nobody really knows what it costs to touch up the paint, because there's an insurance company in the way. The same thing has happened with our medical coverages. Look, Obamacare and even this Republican plan are not necessarily going to be guarantees to health care. It depends on how badly they screw things up before they're done. We don't need the government telling us where to go to the doctor, when to go to the doctor, and how many times we should be going to the doctor, etc. That's none of their business. They don't need access to my medical records, but under the Obamacare Act, they have them. I work in an industry that requires that we practice HIPAA laws. You would not believe the number of changes to HIPAA laws that have happened in my field of expertise, which has nothing to do with medicine, based on this Obamacare crap. It makes absolutely no sense to me, the overall really scary reach that this stuff has. And that honestly is another reason why I've been railing against it this entire time, because I've been seeing all the unintended consequences. Look, if you really, really wanted to take care of the 12 to 14 million people in this country that did not have insurance, some of which honestly didn't have insurance because they didn't want insurance and they didn't think it was necessary to have insurance, then you could have expanded the Medicaid coverages to cover those folks that you knew needed the help. But the problem is we have another part of this that nobody talks about. So now that we have all of these people that are on expanded Medicare and Medicaid, what happens when they go to the doctor? Most of them don't have a primary care physician still, so most of the time they go to the emergency room. What happens when they go to the emergency room? I will tell you what happens when they go to the emergency room, because the same thing used to happen to me when I would go to my doctor back when I had 2 forms of insurance, and I would throw down 2 insurance cards. All of a sudden there were tests being run left and right on me because they knew that they had insurance companies that would pay for all of it. The same thing happens with Medicare, Medicaid. They run all of these tests. Now, you could make the argument that maybe it's because these people haven't been to the doctor in quite some time, and maybe because they were put on this particular plan, now all of a sudden they had access to health care, so they go to the emergency room, the doctor starts looking them over, they find a bunch of things wrong with them, and start ordering all these tests. But that doesn't hold water, because the percentage of people that should be impacted like that should be next to none. But look at the number of Medicaid fraud cases that are being reported on a day-to-day basis around this country. Look at the number of Medicare fraud cases that are being reported on a day-to-day basis around this country. Because they basically walk into a hospital, and whoever the doctor or the administrator is that's doing the coding for the billing, they can basically write a blank check because they know the government's going to pay for it. They don't have that luxury with regular insurance. Jen and I talked about this on last Thursday's show on Jen and Rick. With an insurance company, even with 2 insurance companies, you're not necessarily going to get everything. That's one reason why I think that they literally should have upfront pricing at hospitals. Because what happens with insurance companies is the hospital charges X, the insurance company comes back and says that they're going to pay Y, and then some of that is money that you will have to pay, but whatever else the hospital doesn't get, it has to eat. And the insurance companies, 99.9% of the time, pay usually no more than 65%, because they're responsible for paying usually in most cases up to 70%, but they're watching their bottom line. So they pay their 60 to 65%. You don't know that they didn't pay their full 70% that they're supposed to usually pay based on your insurance plan or whatever the case may be. You come out of pocket for your 30%, and the hospital still hasn't gotten all of their money, but they take it as a loss. Here's another little dirty secret. You know, everybody talks about all this money that the hospitals are losing and there's all of this money that they can't ever recover. BS. Because you know what they do? They sell that money to debt collection companies. You know what that company does? They buy those debts from the hospital. They typically pay them anywhere from 75 to 80% of whatever the debt is. And if they can collect it, they get the other 80%, and then eventually they get to keep the other 22 because they're the ones that did the work. So you're talking about the fact that, first of all, in most cases, the hospitals get anywhere from 60 to 65% of whatever they're supposed to get out of the 100%. Then you kick the other 30% in over time, most of the time. Whatever doesn't get paid off, they typically will try to send to you and say your insurance company refused to cover this portion, and eventually it gets sold off to collections. So they're getting 80% of the 10, sometimes 5 to 10% that wound up not being paid. So they get 80% of that. So they're making money from 3 different angles, and they're ultimately, by the time it's all said and done, they're still getting about 98% of whatever their markup is. But each time they have to take a loss, they mark things up that much more to make sure that the next time the insurance company's trying to negotiate, they don't lose any money. And that's another reason why we need upfront pricing. Look, I am a capitalist. You guys know this. Some of you have been listening to the show now for nearly a decade. Yes, I know, it's been a long time. But that's not my point. My point is, I am a capitalist for almost everything. Where I am not a capitalist is medicine. Look, I understand doctors need to make a living. I really do. I get it. But I don't understand these big corporations running all these hospitals like it's just a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet, because we're talking about people's lives. There are ways to fix all of this. But we have to put some heart back into medicine, and it's not there. There are too many bean counters. Too many risk assessment folks that just, well, you know what? It's going to save us money in the long run if we don't deal with this, because the chances of somebody actually being impacted by it are less likely. And even if we have a lawsuit over it, it's going to be less expensive than if we try to fix it. The same thing used to happen in the car industry. They had bean counters. They'd be like, well, you know what? We've come back after these safety tests and we figured out that this seatbelt doesn't actually work the way we thought it was going to work. Well, you know what? The bean counters have looked at it, and we'll do a recall later on down the road and deal with it if it comes up, because it's going to be cheaper for us to settle a lawsuit than it will be to fix it. That's the problem. We have gotten to be a nation that does nothing but look at our bottom line and look at the bottom line, and that is a huge, huge problem, because this shouldn't be about money, especially not when it comes to medicine. And I know for a lot of the doctors it's not. I'm not talking about doctors, believe me. I'm not bashing doctors. I have an aunt who actually has been a nurse almost for the entire time I've been alive. So I have some exposure to the medical field. I have a sister-in-law who actually went to school to be a nurse. So I mean I don't have any doctor friends, at least that I know of. I mean, I have one that I used to hang out with. He used to tell everybody that he wasn't an actual doctor, but he played one in the bedroom. Yeah, true story. That was actually one of his pickup lines. Hey, yeah, my name's such and such. How are you? They're like, oh, how are you doing? He's like, well, guess what? I'm not really a doctor, but I play one in the bedroom. I'm like, dude, does that ever work? He's like, no, but it sure is fun to say. All right, so on that note, we are going to take a really quick break. We've got one last break to get out of the way, then it's just about time to wrap up the show. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Back in about 3 minutes.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
All right, welcome back, America. Well, we are just about officially out of time. Want to remind folks of what we got going on tomorrow night. That's right, Politibunny is back, and she is live right here on KLRNradio.com. She will be live Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. See, this is how I really want to do this as my day job. That's why I keep trying to say AM. I'm not going to lie. All right, so anyway. We're getting closer, folks. I just have to tell you. It's going to be a while longer, but I'm not giving up till we get there one way or the other. And one reason why we are continuing to get there is because of folks like you that continue to listen on a regular basis. Again, whether you're doing it live or podcast or Memorex or however you listen, just thank you for taking the time to listen. If you'd like to interact again, you can do so at AOTR_host. On Twitter, phone is almost always on, almost always in my pocket, so that is one of the quickest, easiest ways to get a hold of me if anything ever comes up or you want to interact. I am usually on social media about, if I'm awake, it's at least active, so even at work I do check it from time to time when time permits, so I will interact with you there as much as I possibly can. Again, also as a reminder, Politibunny, live tomorrow night. FUBAR, One Nation Under Fu, premiere tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. After that, we have the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show with the G Nation, who is actually partnering up with the Misfits Politics crew for tomorrow night to have a bunch of them on to talk about what's going on with their website, all the different fun things they do on Twitter. Those folks are crazy, dude. They have this gift thing that they do like on Wednesdays, and they have a Misfits Mischief tag they do on Friday nights. It's crazy. Like, literally, they put out this picture, and one of the first things that, it has this different map, and it shows, has like a number 1 with an R by it, and what you're supposed to do is you put like your @ and then you put the letter, and whoever the first person that pops up is whoever the person that corresponds to that particular number. Well, number 1 happened to be the murder victim of this like virtual clue thing that they were playing. And I watched myself get murdered about 20 times on Friday night by the time it was all said and done, because that thing had blown up everywhere. I literally had started to understand what the Trump character felt like in this recent remake of Julius Caesar 08. Did I say that out loud? But anyway, so yeah, I was literally watching people that I knew murder me. One of them actually, because, it's fun to play along when stuff like that starts happening. So I start, threatening to haunt people. And then one guy was like, well, dude, I only did it because I want your radio show. And that was when he was the accomplice. So then it comes up, and this time he was the accomplice first time. He said, I only helped because I secretly want your radio show. Then it comes up again, and this time he's the one that actually killed me. And he's like, no, this time I had to do it. I had to make sure I got your radio show, which I thought was a kind of a backhanded compliment. But it was all in good fun, and it was entertaining for about an hour. So I actually stayed up a lot later than I had planned on, because Dan and I had just gotten off the air and just started talking about some other stuff. And then I went over to Twitter, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, it's like, really, really late. And I'm like, oh my God, people have killed me like 1 billion times in the last 2 hours. But, there have been people that have listened to the show and wish somebody would have killed me. So, in some ways, y'all got your wish. All right, so on that note, folks, we are officially out of here. We'll be live again tomorrow night. Again, just as a reminder, we have a couple of really good shows tomorrow night for you. So we have One Nation Under FUBAR, One Nation Under Fu, with Politibunny premiering tomorrow night. We have the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show live tomorrow night. We have Justice POV, which will be live tomorrow night. We are going to probably wind up having a Right Side with Dan Wright, but it will be a replay. Unfortunately, he has decided to put that show on a temporary hiatus while he tries to get some things situated. But we're still going to put something up in its place, so it'll probably be one of the shows that he's done. And then, of course, I'll be back with you live to round it out for the night at 11 p.m. Eastern. And that is going to do it for tonight. I'm actually really, really long, so we got to get out of here. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in live, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your night. Remember, tomorrow's Wednesday. We're almost halfway through the work week. Just hang on. We're almost to Friday. We'll get there soon enough. Take care.